Hey guys, this is Blaque Diamond. I just wanted to preface this episode by putting a trigger warning out there that this episode may be triggering to those of you who are survivors of child abuse, as I share my personal journey and growth through surviving child abuse from infancy until the age of 15. And I also wanted to preface this episode by sharing some facts about child abuse. Per one incident of child abuse and neglect that is reported, 2 incidents go unreported. There are 3.6 million cases of child abuse and neglect reported each year in the U.S. 5 children die every day from child abuse and neglect. And unfortunately for me, I was one in those numbers. But thanks to my Heavenly Father, I survived. I survived here to share my story with you today.
You are bold, you are fearless, you are radiant. It's time to unlock the diamond from within. BFF, we rise above, stronger together, we shine.
Hey guys, it's Blaque Diamond.
And fearlessly beautiful.
And welcome back to the BFF Empowerment Podcast. I hope you guys have been having a great week so far, and I hope you are ready for a very enlightening episode today. So, April is Child Abuse Awareness Month, so we wanted to do an episode kind of talking about my personal experience being a victim of child abuse, and then also just sharing some important information and different things relating to child abuse awareness that you may not know. Do you have anything you would like to add, Fearlessly Beautiful?
No, I think it's great that we're bringing awareness to a subject that's also maybe a tender subject for some people. So I think it's great that we're bringing awareness to it.
Yeah, most definitely. So for those of you, this is going to be a triggering episode. So if you have some kind of sensitivity about, child abuse and things of that nature, you definitely may not want to tune into this episode. But if you're open to listening and just hearing about my experience, then we welcome you to listen and hear my story.
Yes.
All right. So, for me, unfortunately, yes, I am a victim of child abuse, or might I say, I am an overcomer of child abuse, because I am no longer a victim. I'm not a child anymore, and I'm also no longer a victim. So for as long as I can remember, basically since I was born, um, I was abused by my mother, biological mother. My mother was a single mother of 5 children, by 5 different men. And so I feel that she took a lot of that anger and frustration out on us, instead of dealing with the issues that stemmed from the choices that she made in life. She took that
Mhm.
out on us.
Mhm.
And as a result, it ended up in us being severely abused as children. Um, My earliest memory, I would have to say, of knowing that we were being abused, or at least I was being abused. And I say I because although my brothers were abused as well, I was abused the most. I'm not sure why. To this day, I don't know why. I am the oldest girl out of my siblings. I do have three younger siblings, younger sisters, I'm sorry, and I have two brothers. My youngest sister, of course, she wasn't in existence then when all of this was going on. So it was just five children at that time. But I was the brunt, or I bore the brunt of most of my mom's rage and basically her antics. Um, but from later on, as an adult, hearing stories from family members, apparently, yes, the abuse started very, very young when we were babies and toddlers. I just don't have any memory of those.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember one of my aunts telling me that, we weren't allowed to cry as babies or
Mm-hmm.
as toddlers. Like, my mother would basically give us a look and we would know to stop crying.
Mm-hmm.
Or what would happen, if we would cry. So I don't, as I said, I don't have memories of that. The earliest memories I have is when I was about 4.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom used to make my brother and I, who was 5 at the time, my brother is a year and a half older than me. And so we were responsible for cleaning the house
Mm-hmm.
at 4 and 5 years old. And I don't mean cleaning up our room, wiping down the table. I mean, we were literally washing dishes and scrubbing toilets
Mm-hmm.
at 4 and 5 years old. And when my aunt confronted my mom about it and asked her why would she have us doing things with chemicals, bleach, we were cleaning with actual cleaning products.
Right.
And she said that we were her slaves.
Oh, wow.
And that's what she had us for. That
Wow.
it was our responsibility to keep her house clean, even though we weren't the ones making the mess.
Mm-hmm.
He would literally sit on the couch eating Oreos, eating, Chips Ahoy, watching Lifetime movies while we cleaned the house. And if we did not clean the house the way she felt like it should be cleaned,
Mm-hmm.
were we beaten, but we couldn't eat. We couldn't sleep. We couldn't do anything until the house was the way she wanted it to be.
Wow.
So we were literally cleaning baseboards with toothbrushes,
Oh,
on
wow.
hands and knees and buckets, scrubbing floors.
Mm.
And that was our life. Like, from that young, and even to this day, I am very methodical about cleaning. I'm very OCD about cleanliness, and I do feel like it does stem from my early childhood because
Mm-hmm.
cleaning was a punishment. It was a form of abuse. Um,
Wow.
I mean, of course, now, I mean, it allows me to appreciate a clean house.
Yeah, definitely.
But at that age, that should not have been something that we were subjected to,
Exactly.
but we were. And it only got worse from there.
Mm.
So, bro, I learned how to braid when I was 4 years old from my older cousin. She taught me how to braid on a Barbie doll. And so I fell in love with doing hair. And
Mm.
so at 4 years old, that's like all I wanted to do. I wanted to do hair, and it never stopped. Like, that was a passion. And even to this day, even though I'm blind now, I still do hair. And I've been
Mm.
doing hair since I was 4. So my cousin taught me how to plait on the Barbie doll, and then I taught myself everything else as far as cornrows, doing relaxers, flat iron sewings,
Mm-hmm.
crochet. I taught myself all of that over the years. But at that
Right.
young age, so my mom used to, do my hair. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, I didn't like it. I felt like she didn't take her time. She really didn't put any effort. So when I would go to school, or like when I was on the bus, I
Mm-hmm.
would take my hair out and put little plaits in it and, do it the way I wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so one day, I did that. And, I got caught up at work, school, and just totally forgot that I was
Mm-hmm.
supposed to put my hair back the way my mom had it by the time, we got home.
Mhm.
So I was on the bus, trying to hurry up and take the braids out. My older brother was trying to hurry up. He was like, I told you, you
Oh
know,
man.
then they took your hair out. You know what's going to happen when you get home. And all
Mhm.
of this. And so, and we were trying to work together to try to get my hair back to the way it was before I left home. And
Right.
of course, we didn't make it in time. So when I got
Mhm.
home and my mom, saw that I had, undid my hair, and my
Mhm.
brother just gave me like the saddest look. Like he felt he was all of like 7. And
Oh.
he gave me the saddest look. Like he knew
Mhm.
I was about to get it. And he
Mhm.
felt sorry for me. And I knew I was about to get it.
Mhm.
And it was just like, I was begging and pleading, I'm sorry, I won't do it no more. I was saying whatever I thought
Mhm.
I could say to get her to just not go crazy on me.
Yeah.
But it didn't work. So at first
Mhm.
I was kind of confused. So she left me standing there. She did all her fussing and whatever. She's going to show me about, playing in my hair and all of this. So I'm like,
Mhm.
she walked away and went into the laundry room. And I'm like, okay, what is she doing in there? I know the belt is not in there. So, I mean, why is she going in the laundry room?
Mhm.
So she comes back out with an iron.
Mm.
And so she plugs up the iron and she beckons me over and tells me to give her my hand. And I immediately knew exactly what she was going to do. And I was
Mm.
like, no, please, don't do it. I won't do it no more. Just whatever. And she was like, give me your hand.
Mhm.
And, eventually she ended up just snatching my hand. And once the iron was hot, she literally took the iron and placed my hand on it and held it there.
Oh my goodness.
Literally, I'm 6 years old.
Oh wow.
My skin started, blistering and peeling, and I'm screaming and I'm crying and I'm like trying to yank my hand, but she's holding my hand there and
Wow.
will not let. And then finally, she let my hand go.
Mhm.
And I'm crying and she was like, "I bet you won't put your hands in your head again."
Mm.
And that's literally the type of thing she would do. Like she even burned my hand on the stove.
Oh my goodness.
My hand on the stove. It was another situation, of course, with me, doing my hair, or as she said, playing in my hair. That's what she would call it.
Mhm.
Um, and then there were things where we were made to sleep on the floor with
Mm.
hard, I guess it would be linoleum floors, like no
Mhm.
sheets, no covers, no anything. Um,
Wow.
and for some reason, I don't know why. And like even to this day, when I talk to my brother, like my youngest brother that I'm closest with,
Mhm.
and he actually just came. I went to go see him in November for Thanksgiving this past last year.
Mhm.
And when we do talk, we do reminisce a lot about our childhood and talk about things that happened, when we were younger.
Mm.
And we were talking about like the abuse and stuff that we went through, and then it was just like a light bulb kind of went off in his head, and he was like, "You know what? I never thought about it, but you were abused the most."
Wow.
Like from a very yeah, and he was talking about the iron and the stove and my hands being
Mhm.
burned. And he was like, I don't I it's he was like, I kind of felt like I kind of, I guess, burned some of that out of his memory, because sometimes when you deal with trauma, a lot
Right.
of times you do kind of I guess the trauma is so traumatic that you don't
Mhm.
live it, so you just bury it.
Yeah.
And he was only kind of remembering the abuse from when we were older.
Mm.
But when we were actually talking, he realized that, yeah, my abuse started way younger, when I was much,
Mhm.
much younger,
Wow.
in elementary school.
Wow.
And a lot of times they were abused, my brothers, because they were trying to protect me.
Mhm.
And so they ended up getting the brunt of my mother's, anger and rage as well.
Mhm.
Another time I remember, I was 8 years old, and we were at daycare. And
Mhm.
we were playing outside, and there was a situation where like the boys, they were like taking sticks and they were like sharpening them like against trees and whatnot. And so then
Mhm.
they were running around like chasing the girls, like they were gonna capture them, and they were gonna live in their castle, just playing, being
Mhm.
children. Um so my brother ended up, coming home and telling my mom that, oh, we were being nasty. The boys was taking us behind the tree, and it was nothing like that going on. But because she always wanted to believe the worst, he,
Mhm.
he went with it. And so, me being a 8-year-old little girl, she took me, stripped me naked, made me lay across the floor, and she took a cable cord and whooped me in my womanly regions. I'm going
Oh
to be,
wow.
I don't want to be too graphic,
Yeah.
but yes, an 8-year old. And
Wow.
she told me that because I was trying to be fast, she was going to teach me about being fast. And I'm like,
Mm.
I'm 8. I'm not even thinking about anything sexual.
Right.
Like it was just because she wanted to believe. I think a lot of it stems from my mom looks at her life and the
Mhm.
choices that she made, and because I was her oldest girl,
Mhm.
she wanted to project her inner feelings about herself onto me
Mhm. Wow.
because she was having sex at a very young age and getting pregnant.
Oh,
Because she
okay.
wanted to be out there living and doing whatever she wanted to do and not listening to anybody.
Right.
So, she was having sex at 13 and 14 years old and having children.
Mhm.
And so I felt like she always wanted that to be my life. And so she would always constantly tell me I was never going to amount to anything. I was always going to be a baby mama, no man would ever want, basically all the things that her life
Mhm.
consisted of. It's like she wanted that to be me as well. And
Wow.
so, like, not only did, I go through a lot of physical abuse, but I also went through a lot of psychological abuse because she would always just taunt me. She would always
Mhm.
grade and demean me like every chance she got.
Mhm.
Telling me I was ugly and,
Mm.
that, it was just a lot. And instead of her, building me up as her child, like she found everything she could do to tear me down.
Mm.
Excuse me.
Mhm.
So, um, we went through a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
From being beat with wooden paddles, extension cords, cable cords, plastic bats,
Mm.
fishing poles, like whatever my mom could get her hands on. She,
Mhm.
we were punched, stomped, slammed, choked. Like she
Mhm.
literally beat us like we were grown adults.
Oh my goodness.
And it was on a consistent basis. We could never do anything right. I remember one time my aunt told me, she was like, I have never heard of children being on punishment literally their whole entire life.
Mm.
She's like, every time we would call and ask about you guys or ask, could you come over? Your mom's answer was always, oh, they're on punishment.
Wow.
And that literally was it because she would not allow us to be around our family. Like literally we would go years
Mm.
without seeing our family.
Wow.
We didn't leave the house. We didn't go anywhere. Like we were constantly just on lockdown. We literally lived in a garage
Mm.
using a porta potty as a bathroom.
What? Wow.
She would basically, and excuse me everybody, I'm a little bit under the weather, so excuse the coughing and my throat is a little sore and raspy, but I'm here and I'm sharing, my story. So um but yeah, we literally lit my brothers and I lived in the garage.
Mm.
No beds.
So
No,
she was in the house by herself?
she and my sisters lived in the house and my sister's dad.
Oh
But
wow.
my brothers and I, we were forced to be locked in the garage, and that's where we lived for years.
Wow.
When we first, and she called the garage grandma's house.
What in the
So
world?
my mom had a thing where she would name the things that she beat us with.
Oh my goodness.
So I've always thought that she may have some undiagnosed mental disorder.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Some kind of just something's just not right mentally.
Right.
So the fishing pole was called the ugly stick.
Mhm.
The garage where we lived, slept, ate, went to the bathroom, everything was called Grandma's house.
Mm.
The plastic bat that she beat us with was called Nellie.
Mhm.
So she had a thing for naming her torture devices, as what I would call them.
Wow.
Um, we literally lived and slept, and we were locked in the garage, so we could
Wow.
not go and come as we pleased. We were only let out once a day to
Oh.
dump the porta potty and to get a slice of bread with jelly.
Wow.
That's what we ate. We were starved, so we were very like malnourished as children
Mhm.
because we did not eat.
Mhm.
Either we went days without eating, and then when she did feed us, it was like a slice of bread with jelly. Like it was literally nothing.
Mm.
And there was one time I had an opportunity to tell
Mhm.
what was going on.
Mhm.
Um, so when I was about 12, so I used to wear glasses as a kid, and I did not like them because my mom would purposely find me the ugliest glasses she could find and tell
Wow.
me to break them. Um, and so the last time I actually broke the glasses, it was actually on accident. It was not intentional.
Mhm.
She didn't believe me. So she was like, you know what? I'm not buying you anymore.
Mm.
So I needed the glasses to see. And so because my mom would not buy me the glasses, the school ended up calling CPS.
Mhm.
So CPS came out to the school and talked to me and my older brother.
Mhm.
And, she was asking us questions about our home life and abuse and things like that. And, like, I literally wanted to open my mouth and just let it all out.
Mhm.
But my older brother gave me a look. That look said everything.
Mhm.
You better not open your mouth.
Mhm.
Like he looked at me and I looked at her and she looked at me and she knew I wanted to say something, but she couldn't urge me or, I had to be the one to disclose. And
Right.
she asked me the question about were we being abused. I hesitated for a second.
Mhm.
Then I guess for whatever reason I had this smirk on my face. To this
Mm.
day I do not know why. But I told her no.
Mhm.
And I knew she didn't believe me. I could tell by the look on her face she didn't believe me.
Mhm.
But she couldn't do anything until we said something.
Right.
She ended up having to come to the house and do, the scheduled home visit and all that. And my mom did a 360.
Mm. Wow.
When that lady came to the house,
Mhm.
you would have thought we was just a perfect, just little family. Oh, children, your snacks are on the tables. Eat your snacks and then go outside and play. And I'm sitting here looking like, who the heck is this person?
Wow.
Who is this imposter? This is not
Wow.
who we know. Go outside and play?
Right.
Snacks? Like, what? It's like this must be some kind of like alien invasion or
Mhm.
like this cannot be true.
Right.
I mean, it was like like our bedroom, of course, which was the garage, had been transformed.
Oh, wow.
Literally. There was no sign that we ever lived in that garage.
Wow.
Our bedrooms, our beds were put back in the rooms. Like my bed was put in the room with my sisters. My brother's
Wow.
beds was in there, like because we had a 3-bedroom
Mhm.
house. And so my sisters had a room, and then my brothers, well, that room that was supposed to be theirs, I don't know what they were using that for. But when that lady came, it was a bedroom.
Wow.
And like it was just so crazy. And she was in there talking to her, and we're all just like this can't be real. But
Yeah.
kids, okay, yeah, we get to go outside. This is a once in a lifetime, so we're gonna take advantage.
Mhm.
I guarantee you. That lady's car was not out that driveway 2 minutes
Mm.
before my mom was like, "If y'all don't get back in this house," and then the real her was back. So it was just a
Wow.
facade. It
Wow.
was just a facade to appease her.
Mhm.
And the case was closed and nothing else was ever done. And we went
Mm.
back to the normal life that we were used to. The just the beatings, the starvation, just
Mm.
the constant, physical and psychological and mental and emotional abuse.
Mhm.
Like my mom, we were not allowed to call her mom, mommy.
Mm.
I mean, there nothing that even resembled that
Mhm.
she was our mother. We were supposed to call her by her first name and first name only.
Wow.
If we were ever caught calling her anything other than that, we paid for it.
Mm.
Like it's like she basically just wanted to disassociate herself completely from being a
Mhm.
mother.
Wow.
And so whatever she could do to, separate that, she did.
Mhm.
Um Even as I got older, like the abuse only stopped after I went blind.
Mm.
Excuse me. I think by then, I was 15.
Mhm.
So I felt like once I became blind, she felt like she went too far.
Mhm.
And so now there is tangible proof of abuse.
Mhm.
And so that's when the abuse stopped.
Wow.
Um, I had contemplated, running away several
Mhm.
times. My younger brother had already run away. He became a
Mhm.
habitual runaway to the point where my mom ended up signing him over to the state. And so he was raised in a group home until he aged out of the system. She
Mhm.
literally signed away her parental rights to him.
Mm.
And I had contemplated running away too,
Mhm.
especially an incident that happened when I was about 12.
Mhm.
I had gotten into a fight at school with a boy because he would not stop bothering me. I guess he calls himself liking me or whatever.
Mhm.
And he wouldn't stop kicking the back of my chair and
Mhm.
pulling my hair and all of this. And I'm just like, I'm telling him, stop, leave me alone. We had a substitute teacher that day.
Mhm.
He just would not stop. And so eventually I just got fed up. And I just turned around and punched him in the face. And we started fighting.
Mhm.
Because I was a fighter back then.
I
I
was about
I
to say
had
you used to fight.
Yes, I had a lot of aggression back then, especially because of what we
Yeah.
were dealing with at home. So
Mhm.
I did fight a lot, and because I was bullied a lot too, because I was small,
Mhm.
and yeah, so people picked on me a lot.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I used to fight.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And so we ended up fighting, and so I got suspended from school. Of
Mhm.
course, I did not want to tell my mom. So I hid the fact at first that I got suspended. I still went to school anyway.
Mhm.
Of course, they ended up calling her and sending me back home.
Mm.
So she was supposed to come, and I think I got suspended for like 2 days. Of course, I got the mess beat out of me. Um,
Mm.
and so she was supposed to take me back to school like in 2 days.
Mhm.
Well, my mom used to lock us in the closet when she was at home.
Oh my goodness.
So, I was locked in the closet. I got dressed for school and everything, and she told me she was coming back to come take me to school. She was leaving to go to work or whatever. She was gonna come back. Everybody else was gone at school.
Mhm.
So I'm sitting and waiting. She never comes back.
Mhm.
So from 6 o'clock in the morning till about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm in the closet.
Mm.
So what happens? And I was locked in the closet in my sister's room. So I did not sleep in the room with my brothers. I mean, with my sisters. I slept in the room with my brother. So my mom separated me from my sisters.
Wow.
So I had to sleep with the boys.
Mm.
So that day, because I think the closet in our room was broken or something, so she put me in the closet in my sister's room.
Mhm.
And she would lock us in there. So she would either put something on the outside of the door or do something to the handle to where we couldn't, get out.
Mhm.
So of course, I'm in there for 8+ hours. No food, no water, no nothing. And of course, no bathroom.
Wow.
So I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta pee. I've been trying to hold it. Like, I really gotta go. Like, I don't know what time it is. Like, I don't know what's going. I'm just in this closet all day.
Mm.
And so there was a bucket in the closet that had some toys in it for my sisters. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have to use this bucket. Like, I gotta go. Because I already know if I pee on myself, I'm gonna be in trouble anyway. Because that happened before too. My mom went and took my sisters to Myrtle Beach for 2 days and left us in the closet.
Oh my
And of course, we peed on ourselves and we got whooped for it.
Wow.
But so I'm like, I'm not about to pee on myself. I got to figure out how to go to the bathroom. And so I took all the toys out the bucket and I used the bucket. And I'm like, okay, when I get out, I'll just dump it. Everything will be good. Well, eventually, when she gets home, takes me out, I totally forgot about the bucket. Because I think at that point, I think it was probably about 5 o'clock or so when they got home. So got home, went in my room and whatnot. Totally forgot about it. A couple of days later, come home. She's waiting for me at the door with the extension cord, with the bucket.
Oh wow.
And my heart I'm like, oh, dang, I forgot. So she's like, what is it? She's yelling and and I'm like, I had to go to the bathroom and you didn't come back. And, I'm trying to explain. She ain't trying to hear none of that. So she ends up telling me to go take the bucket and put it in the dumpster. So I'm like, okay, this is my chance to run. This is my chance now to just run and just don't look back. So I literally spent 10 minutes walking back and forth from the front door to the dumpster, to the front door to the dumpster, trying to make up my mind. Should I go ahead or should I run away or should I just go in here and face the like at 12 years old, I'm having to make this decision. Is what I'm going through at home worse than what's going to happen to me if I run away and end up in foster care? Because I knew girls and I went to school with girls who were in foster care and I knew what they were going through. Being, molested and abused and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, I mean, yeah, there's a chance I could look up and get a nice family that's going to treat me right. But the likelihood of that happening, yeah. So I finally made a decision. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going here and just deal with this. And, I don't got long. I'll be 18 in 6 years. If I'm still alive. By then, it may not be so bad. So I ended up going in the house and she came swing as soon as I opened the door. Literally. She dragged me into the room, put me in the closet where, the bucket and everything was. She was, putting my face in the floor and this is what you did and and all the while she's beating me. She stripped me naked and is just beating me.
Wow.
So bad to where the point I have bloody blisters like all over my body. My eyes open shut.
Oh my goodness.
Like literally.
Wow.
So then she gets done and she puts me in the bathroom. And literally that's why I have to stay in the bathroom. Sleeping in the bathroom.
What? Wow.
So of course I couldn't go to school because my eye is all busted up now. I'm all welted up. This and that. So probably took about a week or so. I was out of school for about a week. I'm not sure what she told why I was, not there or whatever. So when my eye was healed enough for me to go back to school, excuse me, because I had like a big welt on the side of my face from the extension cord. Because she actually beat me with a cable cord and an extension cord.
Wow.
And those cable cords are thick. And so I had like a huge welt on the side of my face. And so she took some makeup and like put it to try to cover it.
Mhm.
She was threatening me that, oh, I better not go to school and tell nobody. I better not
Mhm.
have no reason to touch my face so that nobody can see, what's on my face and all this. And of course, I'm like, of course not. Like, I don't never tell nobody what happens. This was going on for years.
Mhm.
Um, so I went back to school and everything, and I don't know how, but somehow I ended up smudging the makeup.
Mhm.
I didn't notice it. Nobody said anything about it, but when I got home, my mom noticed it. And
Mm.
then she went on and on about how I was trying to get attention and I wanted somebody to see. So she beat me again.
Oh my
Just for the
goodness.
fact that something she left a mark on me that could be visual and that could be seen, and she felt like
Mhm.
I was trying to basically, have somebody look at it or say something about it. Which that
Mhm.
I don't even know how I ended up smudging the makeup. I don't know. It's just something that
Mhm.
just happened. Um,
Mhm.
so I think that was kind of one of the worst beatings or situations that like I dealt with as far as like the abuse. But like I said, once I turned 15,
Mhm.
and I became blind, it stopped.
Mhm.
Because yeah, she knew that she went too far. And now doctors were involved and all, and I, even to my surprise,
Mhm.
I am still surprised to this day that the doctors did not call CPS
Mm.
to
'Cause that
explain how this
was.
child has so much trauma to the eye that her retina is detached. And that it had been 7 months after it happened before she finally decided to take me to the doctor.
Mm.
And it never rose a red flag to anybody. Nobody questioned anything. Like this happened in March.
Mhm.
She took me
And
to the doctor in October.
it was because of when she beat you one time that, or it's
Yeah.
because okay.
Yes. And like that's what caused the abuse to stop. Like
Mm.
physical abuse to stop. The psychological and emotional abuse, yeah, that got even worse. Now I'm disabled. Now
Mm.
I can't see. So, oh yeah, you're never going to amount to nothing. Nobody's ever going to want you. You're always going to have to depend on somebody to take care of you. And it's just like it nonstop all the time.
Mhm.
Like it was just like I could never do anything right in her eyes.
Wow.
I never could. And
So
it
it
had
seems
been.
like the blindness saved you from at least the physical abuse.
Yeah, and that's what and then plus I always look at it too, like I can only imagine the type of person I would have been because of all of that abuse. Like I was a
Mhm.
very angry person before I became blind.
Mhm.
And that's why, yeah, I felt like I had to fight to survive and I had to fight to defend myself because, yeah, I was bullied and picked on and abused at home. So, like,
Mhm.
that aggression was taken out in fighting. But I'm like,
Right.
I can only imagine like what type of an adult I would have became or anything because at the end of the day, my siblings, they had lasting issues,
Mhm.
because of the abuse we went through. My sisters weren't abused, but
Mhm.
they did witness what we
Mhm.
went through. And then they still, turned out even though my mom, always had the worst um feelings about me and wanting to wish the worst on me.
Mhm.
Exactly the lifestyle and the things that she tried to project on me is
Mhm.
exactly how my sisters turned out.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's like I was the complete opposite.
Mhm.
I made it my business to be the complete opposite of what she tried to make me. And
Right.
to this day, I do feel like, yeah, she has some deep seated mental issues and she has some self esteem issues.
Mhm.
And she just was mad about the choices and decisions she made in her life. And instead of taking
Mhm.
accountability for that, she projected that and took that out on us. And we were innocent. We didn't ask to be here.
Right.
And we would talk amongst ourselves as kids, and mumbling under our breath and whatnot. I was like, nobody told you to open your legs and have kids. Like that's a choice you made. And
Mhm.
then if you didn't want us, you had options.
Right.
But I think that would have been it was too easy. If we ended
Mhm.
up lucky enough and ended up with a family that loved us and took care like that, she didn't want that for us. She didn't
Mhm.
want us to end up being happy. So instead she decided to keep us to torture us and to make us unhappy.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I just never like understood like why when they're like even my aunt, one of my aunts that I'm closest to, she told me she asked my mom could she adopt me,
Mm.
and she told her no.
Wow.
I'm like, you don't want me, you don't love me, so why not let somebody else have me? He wants to take it. No, she
Mm.
didn't want me to end up having a good life.
Mhm.
So it was better for her being bitter and angry that she wanted us to suffer.
Mhm.
And she would always, tell us that, if her parents were still living, we would have never been alive. We would have never existed if this or that happened. If she knew about abortions back then, she would have never had. Like, she literally did not leave a stone unturned with letting us know how much we were unloved and unwanted and
Wow.
how much we were a burden to her.
Mhm.
And I'm like, if we're such a burden, why don't you let somebody else have us? No, that's too easy.
Mhm.
We were
Wow.
beneficial enough for her to get the government assistance, the food stamps, all of this stuff, but to
Mhm.
actually love and care for us, that was too hard for her. Like that is something that she just could not do.
Right.
And though even after all of this, excuse me, after I became an adult and
Mhm.
moved on with my life, doing my own thing, I still tried. I still tried reaching out to her. I tried because I was still that little lost girl wanting my mother's love, not
Mhm.
understanding why. What had I ever done to her for her not to love me?
Mhm.
So I tried. I went out of my way, sending her Mother's Day things, doing things for her, knowing it was nobody's
Mhm.
mother. But I wanted that so bad. Like, I wanted to force that relationship and that bond that, I was hurting myself, knowing that she would
Mhm.
never, ever see me that way.
Mhm.
And so the final straw for me was my two younger sisters were still living with her at that time. And we had been talking and stuff like that, for some time.
Mhm.
And so she ended up telling me that, her lights were about to get cut off. And so I'm like, okay, I still have two little sisters living there. Like, I don't want them in the dark. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing
Mhm.
this for them because they're kids. They didn't ask for this. So I'm
Right.
like, okay, give me your account number because I didn't trust giving her no money.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, give me your account information. I'll pay it.
Mhm.
So paid the light bill. She was like, oh, I'm gonna give you your money back. I'm gonna give you your money back. I'm like, okay, cool.
Mhm.
She told me a certain day she was going to give it back to me. Okay, that date comes. Okay, you said you. Oh, I don't have it.
Mhm.
I'll give it to you on this day. Okay, that day comes. Well, why you hounding me for money? I gave you life and da da da. Da. I'm like, you're the one that said you're going to give it
Wow.
back to me. Like, what? 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 I don't understand.
Mhm.
So it was like the last time. Excuse me. I ended up asking her for the money, and she just she cussed me from heaven to hell.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Keep the money.
Mhm.
I was like, you know what? I just hope it's worth it. You don't ever have to worry about me calling you again.
Mhm.
Nice life. And I have not talked to my mother since.
How
And
long ago was that?
that was 2011.
Oh wow.
I have not spoken to her since. I've forgiven her. I've moved
Mhm.
on and I still love her, but I can't
Mhm.
force someone to love me who never did. And I
Mhm.
can't force someone to be a mother who never wanted to be.
Right.
And so I just had to finally learn that, I have to love her from a distance. And
Yeah.
I can't push myself on someone who doesn't want it. Like, no matter how much I want that bond, she has to want it herself.
Exactly.
And I've even asked her, during the time we were talking, why she did what she did to us. And her only
Mhm.
explanation was, I know I was hard on y'all growing up.
Mhm.
That was her explanation for all the abuse, all the torture, everything that she put us through. It was
Mm-hmm.
She was hard on us growing up. Being hard on someone means, okay, you may be a strict parent. Like
Right.
your kids may not be able to get everything they want or do things they want to do that's hard. What she
Mm-hmm.
did to us was not hard.
Mm-hmm.
But that was her way of acknowledging what she did. But she would never apologize. She's never apologized. And I don't think she ever will.
Mm-mm, probably not.
And to this day, my mom does not want nothing to do with me, even though I've never done anything to her.
Wow.
My brother literally told her when I came to see him last year in November that
Mm-hmm.
I was coming to see him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he said he asked her if she wanted to talk to me or something, and she literally hung up the phone.
So he still has a relationship with her?
Yes.
Oh wow.
I don't think they have like a relationship like that relationship, but I think
Well, I mean, like
one of my
you're the only
cousins
one
or
that.
somebody actually gave her his phone number or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So he's the one that she gave up. Well, she ended up
Oh,
giving all of us up eventually, but yeah.
okay, gotcha.
So basically, it's kind of split.
Mm-hmm.
Mom has 6 kids. 3 kids deal with her. 3 kids don't.
Okay, gotcha.
So me, my younger sister under me, and my younger brother, we don't deal with her. My older
Mm-hmm.
brother, and then the younger sister, and then the youngest, because she's still a minor, are the
Mm-hmm.
three that deal with her.
Okay, gotcha.
So that is my story, guys. I hope it, helps some of you that may be going through child abuse or have been through child abuse. I would just say for any of you that suspect or see or know of anything that a child may be going through, please speak up about it. Don't
Yeah,
wait.
I do have a question. Do
Mhm.
you feel like you should have told the worker that day at school? Do you feel like it would have changed anything, or you think it would have made the situation worse?
I
If
think
you
it would have made it worse. And at that young age, that's why I felt like I had to make that decision for myself because
mm,
of the history that I've known about foster care and what happens to especially girls in foster care.
right,
And
okay,
I felt like neither situation was a good one.
right,
But I felt like what I was going through at home was the lesser of the two evil. At least I
mm,
wasn't being sexually abused.
gotcha,
And
okay,
that's what my fear was.
mm-hmm,
Just ended up in a situation where yes, some man is doing something to me. Of course
mm-hmm,
that happened to me later in life, but that's another episode for another day.
mm-hmm,
um but yeah, I just like for the longest time like I held a little bit of animosity towards my family because
mm-hmm.
they knew what was going on and no one stepped in to help us.
You mean like your aunts or like
Oh
your?
yes, my family they knew.
Okay,
And they even told me as an adult.
mm-hmm,
It was, oh, we suspected, we thought, we did, but nobody did anything.
mm,
They
wow,
sat there when we would disappear for years and nobody would hear from us. Nobody was like, you know what? Let me just call anonymously and just, something. Like nobody did anything.
mm,
And to hear that as an adult, oh, we thought something was going on or we suspected, it was just like, well, why didn't you do anything when it was like, don't think or suspect after the fact
mm-hmm.
because all of those things that we went through, especially me, my mom could have killed us.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Like literally, like there are so many times like that could have ended very badly.
Mhm.
And then they would have been like, "Oh well, they would have been sobbing and sad, and oh, how could she do that to her children and this and that?" But you guys you knew,
Right.
and nobody said anything.
Mhm.
But of course, I eventually got over that animosity. But I did hold them responsible because we were children.
Right.
And they knew, that their sister was doing these things to us.
Mhm.
And we were defenseless. We couldn't defend ourselves.
Right.
And so that's why I was saying I just want people out there who are listening that may suspect, or just if a child comes to you and says something, or if they look a certain way, or if they, don't assume, of course, but
Right.
ask the right questions, ask the probing questions, and find out what is going on. And if there's
Mhm.
something going on, you need to speak up before it's too late, because too many children end up dead.
Mm.
Thankfully, we didn't, but there was so many times we could have.
Mhm.
And children are just like, oh my gosh, like I'm a mom. I love my kids. Like I could
Mhm.
never imagine putting my kids through what I went through. Like I don't care how they came to be. I made
Right.
the decision to have them. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
take that responsibility. That's not their fault that they're here.
Right.
It's not up to me to punish them and make them suffer for the choices that I made.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I just could never imagine doing the things that were done to me to my children.
Right.
And a lot of times they say, abuse people or hurt people hurt people.
Hurt
Like,
people. Yeah.
yeah, that you have to be conscious. You have to make a conscious effort not to be that stereotype.
Did she have a relationship with her mom, or did anybody else?
So, my mom was the youngest out of 11 children.
Mhm.
And my mom's parents died when she was young.
Oh, okay.
So her father died when she was 6, and her mother died when she was 12.
So.
After her mother died, that's when she changed.
Mm.
She was never abused.
Mhm.
She was spoiled. She was the baby.
Mhm.
Got what she wanted when she wanted it. But when her parents died and her older sisters were left to take care of her, she did not want to follow their rules. She didn't want to do what they told her to do because they weren't her parents.
Mhm.
She wanted to do what she wanted to do, so she ran away.
Okay.
And so she lived her life from the age of 13. She lived an adult life. She was out
Mhm.
there living her life as an adult. So I'm pretty sure a lot of things happened to her, but those were because of the choices she made.
Right.
So, um, do you have any other questions?
Um. How did y'all find out about the blind school?
So my mom was in college at the time, and there was a lady, I think either she was visually impaired or she had a child that was visually impaired,
Mhm.
that went to the school, and so she
Mhm.
told my mom about it.
Mhm.
And so my mom like did the research and found out about it, and that's how we ended up. Because before that, I tried the Hadley School for the
Oh,
blind,
okay.
distance education school then. But
Mhm.
because I did not know Braille, there was no way I really could complete my classwork.
Right.
So I had to end up, unenrolling from that school because I needed to at least know Braille to do any kind of work.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Well, no, I don't have any other questions. I was just gonna say I commend you for your growth, and like that's really true forgiveness to be able to forgive someone that treated you that way, and you're able to reach back and give gifts and show love. There's definitely growth and maturity and just the way you are now. Like people, you wouldn't really know everything that you've been through because of how successful you are now, and even the mother that you are. Like, so I just commend you for choosing to be victorious where you could have remained a victim.
Oh yeah, definitely. And definitely it's a choice. It's definitely a choice. A lot of people say, and my thing I like to say is you can't blame your childhood, like excuse your bad behavior because you had a bad childhood.
Right.
Once you become an adult, you have the choice to change the trajectory of your life. If you choose to keep going down that same path,
Mm-hmm.
that's a choice you're making. If
Right.
you make a conscious choice of, you know what, I'm going to do better than I saw growing up. I'm going to do better than what I experienced as a kid. Then yeah, that's true growth and that's true maturity. Like people who, use that as a crutch
Mm-hmm.
to excuse, their bad behavior or their inability to, be successful or to be motivated or to do anything in life, that's a crutch.
Yeah.
And that's a choice. You're choosing to be and remain that person. Like you don't have to.
Yeah. So true. Well, thank you for sharing your story and your vulnerability.
Thank you. I definitely love, sharing, and like kids are definitely my passion, women are my passion. So those topics, dealing with being a victim of abuse is definitely like very close to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have firsthand experience in basically every abuse imaginable. We'll talk about, some of the other things later on in other episodes, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely, yeah, being a child and being, abused by the people that are supposed to love you, the people that gave you life, like
Mm-hmm.
that is so traumatizing.
Yeah.
Like that's your first, that your home is where you experience love first. And if you've
Right.
grown up in a loving home and never known what love is,
Mm-hmm.
like that's going to cause you to go out here and go into this world looking
Looking
for that
for it.
love you never received at home, and it's going to end up with you in bad situations.
Right.
So I just say for parents out there, just love your children. Show your children that they are loved, no matter how they came to be.
Mm-hmm.
Give them the foundation to go out here and make the right decisions based on you making the right decisions because they're watching you. They're learning from you.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking everything that you see, that you teach them, that you don't even know that they're watching, that they're looking at.
Mm-hmm. And I would say also to parents, take time to heal because it could have also been some of your mom not dealing with the grief proper. I mean, granted, she was a child, but not having the proper tools to heal from what she went through. And so I would say also to parents to take time to heal from your past or your childhood. Seek help if you need to, and like don't take it out on your children because it's not their fault or their responsibility for things that you went through or things that you may not have dealt with. And so I'll say do what's necessary for you to be whole and happy. And so if it means getting counseling or finding someone to talk to, I would definitely say seek out that help because it is important and it does matter.
It does. Mental health matters. And May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And we will have an episode on mental health. But your mental health, it matters. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't get that together, you can't be there. You can't be healthy for your kids if
Right.
you don't have yourself together. So, those of you that think therapy isn't for you or you don't want to talk to a complete stranger about what you went through, it doesn't have to be a complete stranger. Find a good friend,
Yeah,
somebody
somebody.
that can listen to you and empathize and sympathize with you what you went through. Like just don't keep that stuff bottled up because yeah,
Yeah,
that does come out and you take that out on others when they're not responsible for your pain.
right, exactly.
Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the BFF Empowerment Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the show. Follow us on all major podcasting platforms. Also, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/BFF Empowerment Podcast. You can also follow us on Instagram at instagram.com/BFF Empowerment Podcast. And Fearlessly Beautiful, do you have any lasting words before we sign off?
Um, no, yeah, just make sure you follow us on social media, stay connected. We do post different things throughout the week on the Facebook page. So stay connected. If you guys have any topics that you would like us to discuss, you can post them there on the Facebook page or any questions. And so we look forward to connecting with you guys.
All right. Well, bye, everyone. See you next time.
See ya.